Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I have day 14 in my landscape watercolors, so let's jump right in. So as always, I am going to swatch out the paints that we're using in the class, and if you guys didn't know, I am following a Skillshare class for this. It's 30 days of watercolors, and I'm almost at the middle, so that's kind of exciting. So for my paints, I have a Mijello Mission Gold palette here, and I'm going to use Peacock Blue, Cobalt Blue number 1, Bright Clear Violet, Prussian Blue, and Indigo. Those are not the colors that are used in the class. I kind of just wing it and try to get as close to the colors as needed. So my paintings tend to look very different than the instructors, but I'm having a lot of fun taking the class, and I think that I'm starting to finally get a bit of a handle on water versus pigment versus movement in the watercolor. So I've been having a lot of fun with this class. I do have everything linked and listed down below if you're ever interested in what I'm using, as well as the class information. And there is a link there for 1 free month to Skillshare as well if you've never used it. So if that's of interest to you, you can check it out. I don't get anything for it. It's just, I like to learn, and I think artsy endeavors are always really fun. So if you're interested, you can kind of go and check that out. So we started with some sketch there. I used a pencil. We sketched out the mountain. And thankfully in this one, we're not trying to leave the white of the watercolor paper. I'm going to be honest. I really struggle to leave the white of the background without putting paint or water over it. So we're actually going to go in later with some white gouache and kind of make our white snow on the mountain, and I find that a lot easier to do than to actually leave the white of the paper. So we're going to start with our sky, and you saw me add some water to it, and then I'm going to go in with the 3 first colors, the Peacock Blue, the Cobalt number 1, and Bright Clear Violet. And I think I'm starting to kind of get the hang of the skies. There are a lot of really fun skies in this class, and this is probably one of my favorites because it does bring in a fair amount of purple, and it kind of looks like the Northern Lights a little bit. I do wish that maybe I had introduced a little bit more green. The Peacock Blue is a greener blue, but it mixed so much with the cobalt that you can't really see much of the green at the end. So I do wish that I'd kind of added a bit of a green in there, just because I think it would have read Northern Lights a bit more then. But this kind of, it's a very loose interpretation of the Northern Lights. But I don't think that was the intention in the class. I think she just picked some beautiful colors for the sky. But for me, when I was painting it, it just really reminded me of the Northern Lights. And so I'm going to end up going rogue, as I pretty much always do when I'm doing watercolors, and I'm going to add a bunch of stars and whatnot to the sky at the end. The instructor didn't do that. She left her sky just with the really fun colors, but you guys know, if you've been with me for any length of time, I love texture so much. So because I use a very heavy, this is like a very cold pressed watercolor cardstock, it has a lot of tooth and texture to it. So in my final product, I always end up with this beautiful texture because it's built into the paper. And so I don't usually have to add it, but this one just screamed needing some stars because it just, I don't know, it just kind of made me think of a moody, starry night sky, and I really wanted to add that. So being the rogue that I am, I did add it, and I think that it turned out really pretty. So next we're going to do the mountains, and the mountains are only 2 colors, which I thought was pretty cool. So the whole base is Prussian blue because that's what I have. And so the whole base of the mountains is that color, and you kind of get this chance to kind of shave out the shape as well if you're not happy with it. This isn't a wet on wet technique, and I find this harder to lay now. I was doing the skies quite a bit, and I found that wet on wet technique was getting a little simpler for me to do. But when we work on the mountains, it's not wet on wet. It's actually like wet on dry paper. And so I find that I haven't quite figured out the amount of water I need to make this happen smoothly. So you can see that I consistently go back and forth between my pigment and my water, trying to get it to lay nicely. And now I will admit, doing it this way does get some interesting texture in the mountain. So I can see why the instructor does this, because you can see here, like, it doesn't necessarily look like a mountain yet, but with all of that texture in the underneath, when I go in with my indigo, which is my next color, I kind of just add to the texture that's already there. And I find it really interesting. So I've been really enjoying the class. Most of the time I have fun creating whatever I've created. This is probably one of my favorites. If you've seen any of the other watercolor videos, the one that had the sand dune is another one of my favorites. I love how that one turned out as well. And then of course there's a few in there that I'm not as fond of. There's a couple that I'm like, I didn't really pull off the clouds here. Oh, I didn't, whatever. But it is a learning experience. And I do share this with you guys because I want you to see, that it doesn't have to be scary to start something new and as an adult. You guys know that I'm a big believer of learning and trying different things and having fun with your artistic skills and just this is how you get better at something. And I don't want you to be intimidated to the point where you won't try. So I hope that in sharing these videos, it makes anything that you want to learn feel a little less scary. So it's kind of my hope with these videos. Because, not everything I create turns out to be something great. This one I think turned out really pretty. I'm really happy with this one. But there's a few that I finished and I was kind of like, it's okay, but just give yourself some grace if you're learning something new. I believe in you. I know you can do it, and just have fun as much as you can. I know that can be a struggle because I struggle with it myself. It can be really hard to, be okay with the fact that you're learning and it might not turn out the way you were thinking, but I hope you'll still give it a try. And it applies to anything you want to learn: music, arts, cooking. It doesn't matter what it is, flower arrangement, anything, whatever it happens to be. If there's something you want to learn and you're nervous or you're scared to try, give it a go. And then just give yourself some grace, because I have to come to terms with it sometimes too. Not everything you create is going to be magic, but when it is, when you get there and you hit that, the feeling is just so great. Because when I finished this one, and I was just really happy with it. And it's like, wow, I created this. Now, granted, I do follow along with a class because I think that's a great way to learn when you're really new to something. I think having some guidance is never a bad thing, but I do think you have to give yourself the grace to be okay with, not making magic every time you bring pen to paper or you bring ink to paper or whatever thing you want to learn. So I hope that I inspire you guys with these videos, or you just come and hang out with me. I greatly appreciate that too. That is always phenomenal. I really appreciate having you guys here with me. So you can see that I have my white gouache here and I'm just adding random snow caps to random places on my mountain. There is no rhyme or reason. It's just snow. I don't know. It's one of those things, right, where I don't know when to stop. Like, I don't know when I've got enough snow and my mountain looks snowy enough. So it's always a little bit funny because I'm like, do I stop now? Do I stop now? Should I stop now? Like, I kind of battle with myself with details like this, but I think that I stopped at the right moment. And of course, like I said, I'm going to add stars because I just could not refuse. I couldn't stop myself. I had to do it. So, and I just want to quickly say thank you so much to my members. You guys are phenomenal. You make it so that I can do these videos and keep them, available to everybody. So thank you so much if you've supported my channel that way. And if you watch all my videos and you're subscribed, thank you to you too. You are also helping. It tells YouTube that you enjoy my content, you find it interesting or entertaining or, valuable in some manner. So leaving a like and leaving a comment and subscribing, that all helps as well. It just lets YouTube know that you think my content is really enjoyable. So I appreciate you as well. And if you haven't subscribed and you like my content, please consider subscribing. I would love to hit 20,000 subscribers this year. I don't know if that's like a crazy number because we don't have a lot of the year left. But, if you're not subscribed and you enjoy it, please consider. I would love to have you, and you can come back and hang out with me and create something fun because I think creating is a really great thing to be doing. So you see, I just used some random scrap papers there and blocked off my mountain. Because I don't want it to read as snow, and I think it would have if it had gone all over the mountain. I mean, I want the mountain to look like it has snow, but I want this to look like it has stars in the sky. So I did, kind of add just a couple of more shiny stars on the sky. And this one little dot in the corner here ended up on my mountain. So I kind of smudged it out to look more like it's snow on the mountain. It wasn't really the intention, but I think it worked out okay in the end. And I got it to where I was really happy with it. So now we are going to pull the tape off and we're going to have a look at this painting with its beautiful border. I do love these borders. I think that that's one of my favorite parts, is removing the masking tape, or painter's tape in this case, and getting to see those nice crisp borders. One of these days I will get them even. Not today, but one of these days. And then, I won't have to be like, oh, good tape job there. But one day, I have yet to ever get any of them even. They're all kind of a little bit wonky, but that's okay. But here is the painting in all of its glory. I am really happy with this one. I think it turned out beautiful. I would love to know what you think. So leave me a like in the comments and tell me what your thoughts are. And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a star or a mountain. I don't know. Sometimes I'm wrong on the emojis, so you never know which one's available. But yeah, a star or a mountain, and I will know. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.